if you get grit, you can, and you have hope and be optimistic that you can change it, you can change the outcome. So have hope, be optimistic that you can change the result. To have hope, start by being optimistic. And what does that mean? It means that whatever challenges you're going through right now, you're gonna believe that you can come back and you find a solution for the challenges. This is how you grow grit. And it's usually by emphasizing and enforcing a growth mindset. Hello everyone, this is Inspired Tuesday number 97 because our team at Icon Dental Center believes that starting the day motivated and inspired sets up the rest of the day for success. We bring quotes from morning huddles and it has been so positive to our team that we decided to share it with you and hope to motivate and inspire you as well. Today the topic is grow grit. So according to Angela Duckworth, she is a professor and a huge researcher on grit. She defines this as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. And it's not only her, like many researchers found that grit is the big predictor for success because that's what's gonna make you stick to your goals in despite of adversity. So I have in here 3 tips to help our team and you to grow grit. I'll talk about 2 tips, bring 1 quote, and then 1 more tip. Enjoy. Tip number 1 is have hope. To have hope, start by being optimistic. And what does that mean? It means that whatever challenges you're going through right now, you're gonna believe that you can come back and you find a solution for the challenges. This is how you grow grit. And it's usually by emphasizing and enforcing a growth mindset. This is very important in leadership. And what I mean about leaders, not only leaders at work, again, I say it again and again, parents are the bigger leaders. So this is what you do to your kids. You enforce a growth mindset. Like you make your child, you have them see failure in a different way so they can grow grit and stick to their long-term goals. I'll give an example on my daughter. When she first started high school, she had a biology class. And she got really prepared. She's a high achiever. She really cared for her grades and stuff like that. So she goes to this class and she gets an F. And then she realizes why she got an F. She got devastated because she didn't flip the last page of the exam. She kind of finished it before the exam was finished. Okay, that's a failure. It's fine. That sucks. It's horrible. Yes, you see this as a failure, and I told her this is the good news is that from now on, I can guarantee you're gonna flip every page of every exam or anything you do because you're gonna make sure that you're not missing any question, right? So you learn there, and her teacher gave her 5 minutes the next day to finish the test. So I said, hey, I know that you're crying, you're devastated, but at this point, what are we gonna do with that failure? We can go and use it and dominate on the rest of the exam. Forget what was done first. She goes back home, studies like all of it, as much as she could so she could, change the outcome. Bottom line, summarizing all this, she ended up the class with an A. Not A minus, an A. So that taught her that failure was not the final result. Failure taught her how to flip the exam and how to study and how to succeed in the exam, and now she knows that if you get grit, you can, and you have hope and be optimistic that you can change it, you can change the outcome. It was a great lesson, and that happens over and over at work and in many other situations. So have hope, be optimistic that you can change the result. She went from F to an A. That's great. Tip number 1. Tip number 2 is consistency in efforts. Going back to Angela Duckworth, the researcher on grit, she has a great book about it too. She came up with a summary in one of her researches that talent matters, but effort matters twice. That is so deep, and it's great because you see it over and over again, no matter what, if it's at work, with your kids, with your team, whatever you are. For example, at work, like if I have 2 assistants that got hired at the same time. One was right in here with the skills and experience and, talent, really talented with the skills. And they're starting right off school. This one has a little less talent, but they're putting a lot of effort. this assistant, I'll work this one. That has happened, and it's like very impressive. And why is this effort, like this tip, so important? Because effort is one thing you can control. I understand that talent, okay, some people are just good at math. They just have that kind of skill. You still can outwork if you put enough effort. And it's really an important tip for you to believe in. This happened in so many ways. I even, discussing with my daughter in her school, she did have a friend in her math class that, never would need to study for any exam. You go to the test, you'll be sleeping in class. Like, math was so easy to this kid. A in every test. He ended up with a B in a class. Why? Because he refused to do homework. No effort. Versus someone that struggled a little more and need to study a little more, ended up with an A. I know A or a B or a C at the end, it doesn't define, but this is telling you how your future is gonna be. If you're not willing to put in the effort, people are gonna outwork you. Whoever is willing to put in the effort. This is such a critical tip. Consistency in effort, because you can control, that's gonna grow your grit and gonna make you really way more successful. A quote from Angela Lee Duckworth: "Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. Grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint." Tip number 3 is use small physical wins. People may think that grit is how you respond to extreme circumstances, something really tragic in your life, how you respond to that. Grit is not about that. It's about your everyday circumstances. And this is going to build your mental toughness. And then you're going to be able to respond well to extreme circumstances. Mental toughness is hard to build. It's like a muscle. It's slowly. But if you can use your physical win, let me give an example. Okay, going to the gym. I use this because it's a really easy example to make sense out of a tip. Going to the gym is something that I really don't find any fun of doing. I go there because I believe in health, and that really helps me with mental toughness. I've always done it. I've always gone to the gym, and I really believe that this helped me to stick to my goals in the long term, because I can do things that I don't want to do and that are hard. And let's suppose I go there, and if it's easier to do 9 reps, do 10. Always push one extra. It's those little things that is gonna teach your brain that you can keep going. I'm not gonna give up. Okay, this week is really hard to go. Next month I don't feel like it. You still go. So it's teaching you that you're not a person that stop. In your long-term goal, it doesn't matter what you're feeling and how it is, you're gonna stick to your goal. So if you use those physical win, exercise, eating healthy, if you can just keep going for a long time and don't give up on it, you will grow your grit. This is a really great tip in there. So I hope you guys like the topic and the quote today. And I'd like to ask you, do you have hope? Like, are you an optimist, or do you have a hard time believing when things get really hard? Leave me a comment below. And if there's any topic you'd like me to talk about, also send me a DM. A lot of people have been sending me DM. Today, this topic about growing grit is from a DM. I love those DM. Keep coming, and I'll make sure to answer and to, come up with an Inspired Tuesday for your topic. And if you haven't done yet, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our pages on Facebook and Instagram at Icon Dental Center for more Inspired Tuesday. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.